mid-2006, we've basically got every free trial we could possibly get, and we started to get some approaches from some media companies, and we sort of avoided them as much as we could because we wanted to stay out of the... We had a lot of discussions about the 800-pound gorilla, and we were concerned that what we had wasn't that protectable, and we weren't sure how strong our brand was and what would happen if Fairfax or PBL or someone came and attacked us. Anyway, by the end of 2006, we were in discussions around basically selling the company. That fell over. And then in early 2007, Fairfax came to us. They'd just announced the merger with Raw Press. In some markets, we were taking sort of 50 or 60% of their classified revenue in the auto sector, so they essentially had to buy us. So we sold the business to Fairfax in May 2007 on an earn-out. So we got about a third of the money up front, and then we had an earn-out, which was a little bit unusual because the earn-out reference period didn't actually start until the calendar year 2008. So we sort of had from June onwards, we had 6 or 7 months to really build the business up before we had to go into our earn-out period. And during that process, we started to put in some other stuff. So we started to have display advertising, which we never had before. We integrated all the drive editorial and stuff like that. So we had all this used car content, but suddenly we also had new car content as well. We also had editorial. So we started to become more of a destination site. And then we could compete more effectively with drive and that sort of thing. And then, so then we went through the reference period, and at the end of about last year, mid-2008, halfway through the earn-out period, we started a bit of a succession planning type of thing, and Fairfax put in their own general manager to run the business, who was a guy from Drive, who's now got a customer. And we launched Country Shed, which was basically to sell everything with an engine outside of cars. So that was another little revenue stream we had there. And that was the end of it. And then, so basically, we were employees of Fairfax Digital. We said at the end of last year, we said, look, we're actually midway through last year when they put their general manager on. Alex and I said, look, we're only going to work here 1 day a week. We're going to sit on the board. That's about it. And we started to look for other opportunities. And we were approached by a lot of different people who said, look, you guys have had success in this space. We're looking for funding. We're looking for experience. We're looking for content. We're looking for whatever we're looking for. We'd be interested in you guys investing in our business. So we were just offhandedly going to all these different meetings and all that sort of stuff. But we needed to create some sort of brand. So we created this brand, Greenlane Digital, which is basically it's not a VC. It's sort of like a professional angel investment type of business. Basically, guys come in with their ideas. We're really only interested in ideas that we understand and ideas that we can add value to. So we're not passive investors. We're not interested in sitting on the sidelines. The businesses that we're in, we actually work in them on a more or less a day-to-day basis. So there's some of the businesses there. The business that we love are the businesses that can either the best of Australian innovation that we can take global. So we can take these guys to Silicon Valley and they can raise a second raise up. And we've been in there and added that. Sort of done what Vivian did to us as far as putting those pillars of support in there. I use that all the time. The pillars of support in there. Once those pillars of support are in there, then we try to do another capital raise. That's what we're in. Bloodstock.com I use exactly the same as Country Cars, except it's just for the bloodstock industry, right? It's buying and selling race. So it's a great business. Then what we discovered, you can imagine if we've got all these investments going on, you can imagine that it's hard to keep track of them. It's hard to add data to them. And Anthony McGregor up the back here, who runs QM Codes, we invested in his business that afternoon. I think he went to New York that afternoon. Right? And he disappears for like 6 weeks, meets a girl. Anyway, he disappeared for 6 weeks. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to add value to the business. And we didn't hear from him. It's not his fault. He's busy. He's travelling. We're asleep when he's awake and all that sort of stuff. So we started to think about a couple of things. And the first thing was, how can we better communicate with Anthony? Because one of the reasons we've invested, like a lot of angel investors do, is because they want to add value. They've got contacts, they've got networks, they've got experience, they've got whatever they've got. An entrepreneur's looking for dumb money, right? They want people that can actually add value to their business. The challenge is when you've got a guy like Anthony who's all over the world, and we're busy and he's busy and all that sort of stuff, you can't do it. So what we've created now is this business called iPitch, which is basically, I don't want to split stuff. It's Facebook for startups, right? So the idea is that you've invested in a company, you create a profile for the company, and then you invite your investors of the company to be able to track your status updates. So one of the examples would be, just going into a meeting with HarperCollins in New York, does anyone know this guy? Or can you tell me anything about this guy? Or desperately trying to get a meeting with this guy at Penguin Publishing, does anyone know it? So these are the types of things. So we've just launched this site actually yesterday. And the idea is that it gives you an ability to be able to communicate with your investors and ability to be able to add value as an investor to the business. The other thing it does is a collection of Australian startups. So if you're an investor and you're just looking to invest in Australian startups, we're trying to bring them all into one spot. So investors who are time poor but want to invest in angel investment style investments, This is essentially a directory, but it's deeper than a directory because the the entrepreneurs are putting in status updates, stuff like, you know, if it was Country Cars, we'd be in there like, oh, we just hit 150 dealers, or we just launched our new brand, or whatever. So suddenly, entrepreneurs can continually pitch their business and create a profile of their business, and angel investors are looking at that, and they can go, okay, well, geez, these guys are going well. They're looking to raise capital. They've just said we need $1 million. They can access. So that's what I pitch. So that's really my story.